She was a different woman than who I am now.
Pictures capture moments in time. They're a way of recording one's history. Nancy and her first husband, David Phillips, got married December 12, 1970.
That was the same day that Indiana played Kentucky, and our wedding was the same time, we were really stupid.
This Indiana University grad still remembers her Hoosiers losing that day, 95-93 in overtime.
And so I look at this and I think, little did I know.
And here is Pam and Don Berg. Don was in the Army.
When we were married in 1968 in Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Pam and Don were married 12 years, and in 1980, Pam gave birth to little Ryan. This was the day they brought their son home from the hospital.
And so that was our only family picture because, of course, we never anticipated that life would be so brief as a family.
5 months later, Don, Pam, and two of their friends were in the same car, driving back from dinner in Cincinnati. Don was driving, and it was after dark on I-75.
We were hit head-on by a drunk driver on the who was on the wrong side of the highway, heading south, and we were heading north.
Pam was the only one who survived. As for Nancy and David, during their 6 years of marriage, her husband battled Hodgkin's disease. And in 1977,
That was taken on Easter Sunday, and then he died 4th of July weekend the same year.
Nancy said David died from pneumonia and complications from chemotherapy. She and her 2-year-old daughter Amy had to keep going. Pam and Nancy remarried, but for more than a decade, Nancy said she never really grieved losing David. She said she had no real place to turn for emotional support. Then in 1989, she and Pam met at a presentation Pam was giving to educate widows about planning for life after their husbands die. Both quickly realized just how many other widows felt lost and stuck in a massive dark hole of raw emotions, and they needed help. In 1990, Pam and Nancy held their first Dayton Young Widows support group. 14 women showed up here at Normandy United Methodist Church along West Alex Bell Road in Centerville. And once a month for the last 30 years, widows kept coming. Pam and Nancy are not licensed psychologists. Pam's a retired nurse. Nancy's a lawyer. What they started here was what they called a ministry of the heart.
I think that's one reason why we've been so committed over 30 years, that we realized this was a sacred calling.
In this very room, they estimate more than 500 women have grieved and faced almost unspeakable pain.
And when we ask them to share, share a feeling word, share how your husband died, they can't talk. And if they start talking, they're doing the heaving, crying.
That we have poured our heart and souls into. I mean, these are not just meetings we attend, these are precious, hurting, dear, beautiful women that we have been privileged to love and comfort and help heal and help move them to a new stage of life.
But Pam and Nancy are comforted knowing those widows found hope here. Then in the spring, when COVID hit, the widows group had to stop meeting in person. With Pam and Nancy now in their early 70s, privately, each started asking themselves, was it time?
I cried. It was a time of grief.
It was time for them to step away from the widows group. And in mid-September, they invited some widows to come together in person.
And we said, you've already been betrayed by death. You've already experienced the loss of your husband. And now you're receiving another significant loss from us. And we understand that.
I saw somber faces. I saw smiles turn to, if not frowns, just kind of blank faces. And then we heard one lady exclaim that she felt like she'd been sucker punched.
They said their age, health, family, grandchildren, and God helped make their decision easier, and they are at peace with it.
The support group you and Nancy built and have maintained for so long has been the single biggest factor in Kristen getting to the point she is today.
In this room, Pam and Nancy helped wipe away so many tears and mend broken hearts. And while widows realized they would never again be the same, here they found support, purpose, hope, and love.